instead of me like talking about it, cartoonists shouldn't really be talking. That's not really my skill set. My skill set is here, and it's, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, it's fine too, you know. But this is like my 2 cents that I wanted to throw into the like legalized psychedelics for research purposes pool, you know. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna do a book with Bicycle Day, I was like, I might never get to do a book again. This is what I would love to do for my one book that I get a shot to do a book on.
Brian Blomerth is an artist, illustrator, musician, and New York Times cartoonist based in Brooklyn. His previous publications include the widely popular visual histories Brian Blomerth's Bicycle Day in 2019 and Brian Blomerth's Mycelium Wassoni in 2021. He has an upcoming novel called Lilly Wave, an experimental children's book on ketamine, and a visual biography of John C. Lilly that features a foreword written by the one, the only Rick Doblin of Maps. Welcome to the podcast, Brian.
Thank you for having me. The first thing that really piqued my interest on it is I was watching a documentary on LSD, and it had Albert Hoffman, and Albert Hoffman said the first acid trip was a horrible experience for him. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's not what I would have thought. So I listened to his thing about it, and then I got My Problem Child and read it and loved it. And I'd been looking for something that kind of ticked off a couple different boxes. Like I wanted to do a historical thing, and I wanted to do something, I don't know. I just thought it ticked off a bunch of boxes for me, and the story itself felt perfect for something I wanted to do, and everything just aligned where I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it, you know? So I went for it, and book company said, yeah, we'll publish it, and that's how it went. Then after the first one, Dennis McKenna actually was like, if you do a series, you should do the Watsons next. And they were on a list of people that I was like, oh yeah, that would be phenomenal to do the Watsons. And then when I read the Watsons books, that also clicked pretty well for me and what I wanted to do. And so the idea with all three of these books is that it's a couple and a compound. So then after you have these two, then John C. Lilly and Tony, his third wife, they wrote a book together, The Dialectic Cyclone. So I was like, okay, Lilly fits the format. We got couple and compound. We'll do Lilly. The idea is, I think I'm going to do 4 of these, and then I'm going to be off of drugs. But I don't know. I've had a really good time doing it, and a really good time doing all the research and reading. And I don't know. I'm just lucky that it's worked, and a couple people have read it, and that's exciting. Ooh, shoot. For the psychedelics, yeah. Anytime I do a thing with the psychedelics, in the psychedelics world, they're always like, "What kind of experiences you got for me?" And shoot, I don't have one that I can particularly point to and be like, "Yes, this is it." Um, Really, I just I like I don't know. I just felt like it all kind of clicked in a weird way where it all kind of clicked in a weird way. And they don't really inform each other as much as you think. Sure, I do remember certain things that came to me while I was in a state, you know, but besides that, they're less it's less one to one. I'm not like a raving maniac. You can't really draw. I'd rather go outside anyway if I'm ever doing a compound, you know. I'd rather be in the world, not at my desk where I always am. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. But remembering certain things that did come up. And for this new one, actually, so both ketamine and the isolation tank have a certain flash to them, in my experience. In the isolation tank, you're in blackness, and then you get the pinprick, like the TV static kind of light, you know? And ketamine had a similar effect for me. I don't know why. Maybe that's like maybe that's just was my experience. So in this book, I tried to have it be like when you flip it, you really get the like there's all these black and white dot patterns in this one, like that like go back and forth, so that as you flip it, you kind of get that like light strobe effect. You know, that was the idea with the flipping in this one. I can't do it and show you guys on the thing, but
Interesting. Did you do
ooh.
that for all the books? Like thinking
No,
about what it would look like?
all the books do have a visual trick that goes with the compound, though. So that plus airbrush was my ketamine idea, right? But this one, Bicycle Day, has neon Pantones because neon is a chemical. It's as a color. It's developed in a lab, just like LSD was. Like it doesn't appear in this like pure form in nature. It like there's neon colors, mind you, but neon inks, and they were developed around the same time. So both of those, I think that really worked for LSD 25. And then for mushrooms, botanists love watercolors, right? And so all the trippy effects in this one, let me see if I can find a good page. They're all like watercolors like that. So it was like the idea was to kind of show like use the materials of the people that like kind of were well, just something that like visually referenced like where the people were kind of at. So I was thinking chemistry and then being like a botanist, and then for this one, it's hard science. And like I talk about in the back matter, Sagan got, Lilly money for the dolphin experiment. And Sagan has a guy that's his airbrush guy, John Lomberg. He does all these beautiful airbrushes for Carl Sagan. And I was like, Lilly deserves his own airbrush guy. Let me be Lily's airbrush guy. Let me do all the cosmic stuff for Lilly that Lilly demands. All the cosmic airbrush like in between a bowling alley and and maybe a motorcycle gas canister. Those kind of like cosmic like let's see if I can
What's
find
going
another good
on?
spaceship. In this
What's
one
going on
we
that page?
in this page basically we have on one side, I don't remember exactly what he calls it. It's like the Lilly like focus of K concentration in the brain, and this is his chart to showcase like how he goes up to the unknown. It's because there is the internal reality I that he labeled, and then the extraterrestrial reality ETR, and that's not even very high up in the category of ketamine right there. And then beyond that, you go to network of creation, which is we, and then the unknown is above that. That's at 300 milligrams. So that's basically like where he's completely unknowable. and on the other and on the other side, we have the external reality observers diagnostics, which at the top of that you go into coma, which Lilly had multiple comas. I don't know if you can see that. And it was pretty wild going through his biography and being like, wait a minute, there's three comas? Like the second reading, I had to be like, let's make sure there's actually three comas because there's no way there's three comas. And then there is three comas. Three comas for my man, John C. Lilly. Pretty wild. Well, okay. So in the bicycle day one, I did try to figure out the chemistry stuff, but I really didn't do a great job. I tried as hard as I could and like really went for it. And we had somebody, I'm not going to rat out who, we had somebody as an idea for the forward in the beginning, and he was like, the chemistry is awful. It's like, I could tell you really tried, though, which was really great because I really, really, really made an effort. It is extremely complicated for a layperson. And I learned all this stuff about so for LSD, according to my interpretation now, there's going to be some scientists who are just going to scream at the camera right now. They're going to be like, this idiot needs to shut up. But you do use color chromatherapy, and that chromatherapy, that's color therapy, but it's chromatography. And that's kind of how like you split it up. And so that was really pretty. And I had no idea about that. That's why like a lot of these, like that page is like under the red light.
Wow.
It's all got the pink to it because it's like there's so many compounds like in the LSD process, like it turns out the color of the environment is like extremely important because you separate it up like this. Like there is like a color separation that happens. Like that tube right there is the color chromatography. And up
Huh.
here we have all the different, But yeah, originally I was gonna try to do it where it was like every page had one of like the parts to crafting LSD-25, but it was just like so complicated, and even this is like my Cliff's notes. Like we're missing steps, and I tried really hard, but I used this guy Uncle Fester's Practical Guide to LSD Manufacture. That's how I got like a more layman's idea on what these look like, and then had a big PDF where it was like I had to sketch out all the different parts and label them to try to like get it just right, you know. But still, very hard. So much stuff too. That's just one. Yeah, there's another page of that. Which I doubt you're going to be able to see. There's a whole other page where
Wow.
it's that, and then there's another page where it's that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you go through a lot. 100 degrees, vacuum, distillations, swirling. Yeah, so chemistry is really hard. What the Watsons are into, more just like botanical, like in etymology. I can get my head around that a lot more. It's a lot easier for me to look
Right.
at photos of. Actually, this is in my wheelhouse. I can look at photos of a specimen or look at a specimen and draw it. That I can do. But complex chemistry, I cannot do. So I forgot what the question was. Yeah, I mean, I really tried. I mean, as far as it being great, I mean, you also like, I mean, it's inane to expect me to be like, if you looked at these books, do I expect it to be like perfect? That's crazy. Like, it's dog people walking around in that thing. The idea is just to get it as close as I can, and that's got to be good enough because, it's a real one man effort over here. Besides the people that were nice enough to do the forwards, it's really just me. So.
Cool. Well, speaking of the forward, our boy Rick Doblin, Maps US. Maps Canada is a sister organization to Maps US. We are not nested within Maps, but we do have a relationship with
Beautiful.
Rick. And he wrote the forward for Lilly Wave. How was it communicating with Rick? How did that come about?
So I didn't communicate with Rick at all. The editor, my buddy Mark Iafasuko, who I call Mark Ayahuasca, my buddy Mark emailed Rick, and his assistant was like, "Oh yeah, bug him, and it'll work out." And we both were like fingers crossed because he was a dream to get for the forward of this one. So we went fingers crossed deep, and it worked out. But I don't, as far as like speaking for him on why or talking to him, it's like I work for bands a lot, and a lot of times like the best I'll get like. Sometimes I'll talk to a band, but most of the time I'll just get like a heart back, and that'll be it. That's my level of communication. So I haven't had that yet with Rick, but I'm sure one day we'll have a heart. That will be the level of our communication. But he seems like the man. I've been a big fan of Rick for years and years and years, and it was great that he did it. I really cannot be. I'm beyond it. Thanks, Rick.
Awesome.
If you watch this.
Totally. I mean, hey, we can give him props at a conference in a few weeks that he'll be
And
at
even
in
in
Vancouver.
I have to say, I've been a big Maps fan for a long time, and even in the first book, Bicycle Day, we have a card for you to cut out and donate to Maps right there. I did my version of the
Let's
logo.
go. Thank you.
So
That's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah, but not Maps Canada. I was not aware. This is going to Santa
Yep.
Cruz. Yeah, for sure. When they're published in Canadianese, I'll get them
Exactly.
to put. I'll
I'm
get them
sure
to
we could find
put
a translator for you somewhere.
Maps
Someone would be
Canada
willing to
in.
translate. Yeah.
Mycelium did come out in France. There's a French publication. There's a French version of it.
Incredible. There you go. Well,
So
you got
there
Quebec
is.
covered too.
Yeah, we got Quebec, but not a pure Canada version yet. I would love it.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm curious with your new book, is there like a favorite illustration of yours in the book or favorite page?
No, well, let me think about it. No one has ever asked me that, and that's very funny. I mean, this one's very wild, of course. This is where he calls Gerald Ford. Actually, it's impossible. It's so funny. It's like, it's hard for me to do it. So here he calls the White House and he calls Gerald Ford. And in the background is this vacuum cleaner that Lilly had. And I really like this vacuum cleaner. So yeah, he just kind of lost his mind there. And it's calling
Is
Gerald
this
Ford.
did he like in real life? Was there something with a vacuum where he lost his
Um,
mind?
no. He just called Gerald Ford. He needed to tell. Basically, he was worried about solid state entities, which is the like computer AI intelligence that he was worried about taking over. Versus Echo, which is the Earth Coincidence Office, which Earth Coincidence Control Office, which I draw like that guy. Um,
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's one of the beings. So Lily is one of these beings, but also these beings come into his life and mess with him from time to time. In the beginning, he refers to them as guardian angels. Actually, so Lily is interesting because he has like six different biographies. Two are written by with him and other people. But as the biographies get as he gets older, the biographies get wilder and wilder. And most of the stuff is from The Scientist and My Life So Far. Those are the last two. Actually, there's one more that I don't remember what the name is, but I have it in my pile over there. So I'll have to think about that. But The Scientist is like the one where he finally reveals that these critters are coming into his life all the time. And they're controlling coincidences in his life. And yeah, I don't know, setting things up for him to do research on dolphins and research on ketamine and research on the solid state entities and all sorts of stuff. See, Lily, unlike the other two books, like Lily, I'm still like super confused by, even after reading like every book I could get on him. I have no idea what his deal is. It's so confusing because the like all of the dolphin books are written like highly technically and very like those kind of repeat too. But yeah, they're written like very technically, and now I'm confused if my dolphin facts are real or not. There's so many dolphin facts that I don't know if they stand up to 2024 or not. Like uh, when I first started doing the research, my wife's family was like, "Oh, so give us some dolphin facts." And I was like, well, dolphins can see into each other's bodies with sonar, and like they can see what they have for lunch. Also, they can diagnose illnesses like cancer or do psychic, like not psychic surgery. But then I realized I was like, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute, what? I don't know. I don't know if they can see into each other's bodies. That's crazy. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. I don't know. It's hard for me to know. So Liz got a lot of facts like that. Like also Aristotle, I referenced this slightly. He claims that Aristotle like recorded dolphins saying human like vowel sounds, and ever since then people have been curious about it. So in the very beginning of the book, I put a little Greek vase that is an early. They have this at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's a soldier riding a dolphin. It's one of the earliest Greek examples of dolphins. So I try to put as much little like visual sprinkles, everything like, oh, that seems pretty random. I try to have it be a point, because you read all the books and anytime anything's interesting to you, you make a note of it, and that's how the research goes. And then the ones that you're like, okay, this one's really important, I'm gonna have to read that again. We're gonna have to redo this whole thing. The dolphin ones, I didn't read them more than once, but some of the biographies, definitely had to read those twice. And then The Scientist, I did it three times. So you got to just read it, do your notes, read it, do your notes. And then, you know.
Right. Got it. Got it. So I'm curious about your creative process. So you gave us a little view into the research phase where you see what's interesting and stands out and you reread it as you go. What is your journey like from taking the ideas into the final illustrations?
Well, pretty much it is just like for this series, especially, it's like coming up with like a new visual idea that makes sense with compound and character. And from there, you just kind of like, it's a little weird. I don't like sketch anything ever. I just like draw it. And you pretty much have a good idea of what the page you're working on looks like. So you do that. And then while you're doing that one, you think about what the next one's going to look like. Because you do an outline. Like I make like an act outline of like where I want everything to go. And that's like next to the page that has everything interesting in his life that I can think of, And those two together, that's how you come up with these pages. So pretty one to one. It's like, but also, I mean, I guess it's a little crazy too, but it's really just like I got paper like this and I got a pen. Get my face all in the camera. Got a pen like that and white out, Presto Jumbo correction pen, and rulers. Like, that's a T square.
Nice.
This is a 45 degree, and I have a big. Actually, that's 33. This is 45. I always get them confused. 45, 33. Every time. And I got ovals and stuff. So it's very low tech in reality. And then once you're done with the ink drawings, you scan them into the computer and then you color. I got this old laptop, just put it on my belly, color it up. Done. Next day, new page. You try to get one spread done every day. Otherwise, you're sunk. You're ruined. Yeah, totally. That way you keep your colors hyper specific and I don't know. Yeah, just like coloring on the computer the best. Because it's like otherwise the ink gets all smeary and I want my ink line to be right. But for this one, I did a lot of airbrushing for this one. The airbrushing is real. So for that, you take your drawing and you place like a thing of Frisket foam on top and you peel it off and then spray the negative, and that's how you get like all these, because I wanted these little aliens to glow, like, because he describes them as beings made of pure light. So let me find a good where they're glowing. Oh yeah, here we go. So there's them and a dolphin glowing. And as you can see, they're kind of translucent, So they're drawn in ink and then cut out and then sprayed in the alternative. And I did that with this dolphin too, so it has like a nice glow to it. Yeah, so pretty low tech in reality, but a lot of work. It turns out it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. But you have to have fun, and that's number one because I want the books to be fun to read, simple, and give the ideas and the concepts in like a way where it's like somebody who wouldn't pick up like a whole Lilly book, will maybe like think a little differently, or definitely with Hoffman and the Wassons, like just get their thing out there in a way that's like easy for people to digest. Because with Hoffman, I always heard like the bicycle day story like completely wrong. Same with Lilly, actually. Everybody, it's a little gross, but everybody's like, he had sex with dolphins, right? And I'm like, well, no, actually, now we have a whole book to show you what actually happened. I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't read it yet, but we got a whole book now, and, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I just thought it would be nice to do, and I love the subject matter, so that's where we're at.
Hey, we hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Now, if you want to support and become part of the psychedelic movement, feel free to donate to MAPS Canada at the link in the description below. Thank you for helping our mission to support equitable access to legal and regulated psychedelic medicines for all Canadians.
No, not really. The only thing that happens is people will be like, "So what's the research like, huh?" And you're like, "Oh, come on, come on! I had to read all these dang books." Yeah, for sure. Come on now. So yeah. Other than that, though, everyone's pretty nice about it, and I don't know. People, it seems great. It seems like people are more curious about it than ever before, and I think that's a really good thing. And I think we can thank Maps for that. Maps Canada, Maps US for that sort of attitude. People are curious about it, and I think that's fantastic. So. I support it for sure. I mean, that's the Hoffman model. That's the MAPS model. I love it. I'm all about it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like the ketamine stuff, I don't know as much about it as I know about like MDMA, like afterlife care, like with psilocybin, those sort of things. But like, I'm curious. Yeah, I think it's good, and they're doing it in a pretty responsible way still. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, but the jury's still out, of course. Like, well, we won't know until later in life, of course. But so I'm into it. I think it's great.
Got it. Totally. Yeah, and we'll see how things go with the FDA in the future with their recent announcement that they didn't approve MDMA-assisted therapy
Oh, I
yet.
didn't. Okay, there we go. I didn't
Yeah,
know it was like that. I knew that it was coming
yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah, right. That's probably what you had heard before was that FDA was going to make a decision, and their decision was formally it's not no. Their decision was we cannot approve the new drug application because of these reasons that they listed in the thing.
Oh, wow.
Some of which were things that they suggested because they helped make the design study with maps. But anyway,
Okay. Yeah, we
yeah,
don't need to get in the weeds. That's I don't know enough. I'm definitely not
yeah,
the person to ask about any of that.
totally. I mean, the whole mission and the whole purpose of maps and of course maps Canada along the same lines is to work with the system. Now,
Yeah.
that said, there's always and will never not be a thriving indigenous use, which is sort of outside of this context that we're working in, as well as just the underground. People have
Yeah.
always used psychedelics since they emerged in the underground, and they will continue to do so. So I'm curious, Brian. You've been very active in the art scene in New York, and I know New York is profoundly known for its art and the history there. I'm curious if you have a sense of a role that maybe psychedelics have played, maybe historically, or something that you've seen yourself with either the music or the visual art or the scene in New York.
Huh. I don't know actually, because I don't really. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't, but I guess I really only know my like couple of. I know some painters and some other musician people, and definitely a couple other cartoonists. But it is kind of like to be in a creative field in New York, you're kind of like you are a little bit screwed where it's like you do get access to like going out and like seeing whatever you want all the time, but it's also like the most intense balance. You have to work like a lot harder to make anything like it's a million times more expensive than any place I would like to live. So in that context, I don't know. I feel like I'm sure and definitely, but also don't know. I don't know how to even speak on that. No one's ever asked me that before. I have no idea.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
assume yes. I would say 100% sure, but also don't know. I don't know
Yeah. I,
my little drawing desk world, and when I go out, I just like to hang out and relax. I'm not trying to stress out people with too many questions.
yeah. Totally. I know having done creative work myself and just understanding the creative process that it's a balance between structure and like free flow creativity. And without like the discipline of being a musician who will practice like every day for like 10 hours like crazy, that leads to the beautiful spontaneous flow that can come later. And psychedelics aren't necessarily helpful for that component, the saying like consistent and disciplined and structured.
100%. I mean, yeah, I definitely would say it's a trip, it's a vacation. I would definitely say I try to plan it out to where I'm not in the office. I would like to go out and relax and have a great time. So I don't know. I 100% believe yes, but also I'm not. I don't know.
Totally. Cool. Awesome, man. Is there anything that you would share with an audience of people who haven't heard of psychedelics before? Our audience is everyone from researchers, academics, the chemists who will correct you angrily in the comments below to like,
I
suburban
cannot
soccer
wait.
moms who. Yeah, right. If they do, hey, please engage below. Tell us what's going on with those graphs.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, I mean,
Um,
you're reaching people with your books. I wonder if you have a message in mind for the broader public.
um, Shoot. I don't know. Besides what I've done here, I think this is pretty much like, I mean, it's a pretty thick little stack here. So I think this is it. This is what I would like to, so this is what I would like to show off as far as that goes, and like what, instead of me like talking about it, cartoonists shouldn't really be talking. That's not really my skill set. My skill set is like, is here, and it's, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, it's fine too. But this is like my 2 cents that I wanted to throw into the like, like legalized psychedelics for research purposes pool. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do a book with Bicycle Day, I was like, I might never get to do a book again. This is what I would love to do for my one book that I get a shot to do a book on. And then after I did that one, I was like, well, it is easy to do more of the same, but you know what? I'm going to, because I love the Watsons, and Lilly is so crazy. And I have one more drug book planned, and I think they're all like great stories. And I love that it's a couple on a compound. That's so shocking to me that it kind of goes across. It goes across these three substances right here, and it's like perfectly aligns, and you're like, how is that possible? That's, Lily would say that's the Earth coincidence office, but I don't know if I want to invite them into my life. I'm terrified of them now after reading Lily's books. So yeah, I would just say the history is different than you would think it is, and it's definitely interesting. And yeah, and you also don't need to know the history. If your friend offers it to you and you feel like it, sure. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Nobody's asking you to. Like, don't feel pressured into it. If you feel like you're not in a mental space to do it, definitely don't. Relax. Keep it cool. That's my main. Oh, now I just bounced everything. I'm like on a trampoline. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Is just keep it relaxed. Not a big deal. Do it if you want to. If you don't, whatever. So all good. So I don't know, but maybe that's not for the research side, just for the chemist. I don't know, but that's my 2 cents on the matter. I Now I know the couple and I know the compound, and if you are like a psychedelics, if you know who it is, you know who it is. It's MDMA and it's the damn Shulgins.
Yeah, when you said
I
couple,
got Oh, you know it. I got Tickall and Pickall. I've read them already, but I'm gonna read them again. I'll probably read them twice. And they're both staring at me right now. Can't wait. I mean, I got a year off though because I got to make some money. I mean, they've sold okay, but they don't really pay the bills, so I got to save up a little bit to take off the time to make them work. So it's going to be at least a year, and I'm scared because it's way more chemistry than it's going to be so much chemistry. And as far as artwork goes, I have no idea yet. I have to do like the reading and see what comes out. But I don't know. So hopefully something comes or else I'm screwed. But I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out just fine. Thanks. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy with it. A little bit of ramble there. Thanks.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, something that came to mind when you were speaking about people asking you, "Oh, how's the research going with the books?" Is often, people will. I've been asked like, "Oh, did you come up with this idea while you're on psychedelics?" And the answer is no, man. I was like crying for 6 hours. is
Now that's tight. That's what I like to hear.
is what the actual journey was like.
That sounds really good. I like that a lot. Yeah, you either
Exactly.
go straight tears or you get a little goofy. It's all good.
Nice. In your have you read Pikal and Tikal yet?
Of course, yeah, but I haven't in a bit. At least a couple years, so I'm excited to read it again.
Got it. Cool. Is there anything from those books that stands out for you as those like interesting, notable moments that you might include in the next one?
I haven't done that kind of read yet. When I do that kind of read, I will definitely have them for you. But yeah, that kind of read has not happened. I read them casually as a before I did these books. So I haven't. I started reading them again a couple of things ago, but I was like, wait a minute, keep it fresh for when you're actually ready. And so stopped and just have them staring at me.
Got it.
You know, they're
Cool.
such a thick, amazing looking tomes. You know,
Cool. So I'm curious, Brian. I know maybe where in somewhat liberal cities and somewhat liberal countries that have embraced psychedelics, and around the world that might not be the same case. I'm curious for you if there were any considerations with wanting to make a book on the topic of and write these novels on the topic of psychedelics, maybe at the start when you're writing the first one, and any considerations with the stigma or possible um, things that could happen because you've embraced those topics.
no, I mean, basically, I'm shocked that anyone read it, you know, and I'm very happy that anyone read it. And that was that's you know, you throw the rock in the river and it ripples a little bit, and you go, okay, there we go, let's get another rock out, and that's as much as you can do, you know. So didn't think about it. I think the books are going to get published in Mandarin. Oh, in Russia too. Before Bicycle Day, this guy wrote the book company and wanted to do it in Russian, but you know, it turned out it would be illegal to do it there. You know, it might count as drug paraphernalia. We didn't hear from him again, and I hope he's okay because that was a little
Wow.
scary. And I don't know if I should put that out there, but probably it's fine. I don't think Maps Canada is getting listened to like that. But really nice guy. And I hope that's good. That's the only thing that ever happened that I was like, oh boy, wow, okay, okay. And I don't even view these as drug paraphernalia or drug propaganda. Like they didn't really cross my mind. I guess they are, but like, whoa, I didn't think about it like that. You know,
Yeah.
because when you go into, I don't know, I guess we're all on the maps, on the maps train of thought. You don't really think about it in those kind of terms. You're like, okay, this is something I think is a positive thing. Nothing that crazy, nothing that wild, you know. Um, so yeah, that was the only thing that ever happened like that. So
Got it. Yeah, and we didn't mention any names, and we won't mention names, so
definitely will
perfect.
not, definitely will
Yeah, I can
not.
share. It's funny. In our interview with Rick Doblin, he shared how in the past a Canadian, I think it was a Canadian lawyer, was going to the U.S. for some reason, and the border guards asked them if this lawyer guy had ever smoked weed, and he said yes, he had, and he got a lifetime ban from the U.S.
Wow.
for it. But while we were doing the podcast, this is also a sign of like changing times. I shared the story of how I have a YouTube channel separate from the Maps Canada one where I talk about psychedelics and openly talk about my use of psychedelics and all their benefits and everything, as well as harm reduction information. And I was at customs and they asked what I do. And I said, well, I do this other stuff. I also have my YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. He's like, YouTube channel? Oh, what's the name? I'm like, uh-oh. So they look it up and they're like, MDMA, psychedelics. And I'm like, uh-oh, they found my YouTube channel about psychedelics. They searched my phone, they grilled me, asked me all these questions. Another border guard next to that person came over and like looked over their shoulder, like looking at it, and they were like, oh, uh-oh. Just freaking out. And ultimately he went through my phone, he handed it back and he said, okay, you can go. Just be careful what you put online.
Wow.
What I took away from that wasn't that, oh, I need to be careful what I put online. What I actually took away was, oh, I can make videos about psychedelics and they won't ban me for life from the US.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't ever know what to tell those people. I try to just tell them nothing, or just be like, I don't know. I'm here to sell these books, whatever. Um, I thought Europe had a bunch of rules, but it turns out Europe it's all good. They just go, "Welcome to X" or "Welcome to Y" and stamp the thing. It's only Canada and the U.S. where it's insane. The couple times we went up to Canada, it was like, if you brought anything with you to sell, they were like, "Why are you trying to sell stuff here? Like, you can't sell anything here. They have to be gifts for friends." It's only Canada that has this extreme border, and I don't know why. I thought we are cool. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Damn.
Totally.
So,
Yeah. Ever since we scrapped NAFTA and then replaced it with the Canada, US, Mexico trade agreement, whatever,
mm,
I don't know if it was since then, but yeah, they're pretty weird about if you have a box of books,
Yeah,
like
they're too.
we brought down for. Anyway, I will not speak to that topic
Oh yeah,
anymore.
so yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, we don't need to be like this is a self snitch podcast right now. We're just
Yeah,
like
hold on.
snitching on our border experiences. And this is
Uh,
very funny for psychedelics people to just be like, I don't know. There's other drugs where people do border stuff, and it's really insane. Or it's just be like, we were just talking about what we do. We were just talking about our books or our videos, and that was crazy. We just snuggled our minds across the thing. That goes with that Terrence quote everybody's carrying. There you go with the DMT.
That's
Ah.
funny. Ah, right. Yeah, and Dodge. Yeah, are you bringing any DMT across the border? Only the DMT in my pineal gland officer.
Then they should ban you for life. If you're
Any
saying stuff
cannabis?
like that to the border guard, you probably should get banned.
Yeah. Any cannabis products? Only my endogenous cannabinoids in my system,
100%. Yeah, my
officer.
calcified pineal gland. I got it all in there.
Don't worry. I drink tap water. It's all good, officer. Um,
I
cool.
love tap.
Yeah. So in your research for your books and the whole process and reading about history, were there any interesting like misconceptions that you came across that stood out to you?
Um, hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, before I did the research, I mean, I assumed that Hoffman's bicycle ride was not a crazy, scary run for him. And, with Lilly, I mean, like, people had told me his story all different kinds of ways. And Watson's, I knew a little bit about them, but not like, not as much as I learned. Like, I guess the misconceptions were just like, just the misconceptions everybody has. Like, um, you know, uh, that Hoffman like meant to trip, and then Lilly definitely enjoyed like dolphin stuff, like in a weird way, and just general stuff that before you do the reading on these people's lives, like maybe you just heard about it from X, Y, or Z, and you barely retain it, and then you bring it back somewhere else. So that's why it's kind of nice to like put it in like a easy to read book format that just somebody could flip through and be like, then you have visual plus the information, maybe that'll make it stick in a little in a different way. I don't know. Those are the kind of I don't know if I answered the question there at all. I tried. I don't know. Yeah, just trying to get the stuff right. And that was the kind of and before I did all the reading, like I had misconceptions and then they were all cleared up by the reading. So well, I've had a blast. I've really had a good time drawing it. I've had a good time reading about it. I mean, when I'm making them, it is pretty hellish because it's like I only have amount of time to make these books, and I've been lucky enough to give it a little bit more each time, but I have to like work and save up a bit to take off the time to actually make these books. And sure, I get like paid from royalties, but it's not like, it's not like 6 months worth of anything, So it is really, really stressful in that category. But I have had a great time doing the reading. I've had a great time making these, and the response has been pretty good. Like the people that have read it, I think they like them. That's beyond amazing. Like I just got very, very lucky. I got very lucky. Rick said yes. I got lucky. Stamets said yes, and I got lucky. Dennis McKenna said yes. Like, for the love of God, what a delight. I cannot believe it. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So, yes, I've had a great time with these books. Phenomenal. As a fan of all those people, it's just like, wow, it's really phenomenal.
Awesome. Got it. So we're coming towards the end. I'm curious if there's anything you wish to share with the audience or any link you can shout out now that we're going to put in the description.
Well, you already know about Maps because you're on their website. You know about Maps Canada. I assume you can find out about Maps USA, of course. And yeah, besides that, I mean, McKenna has his own. I wrote about it in Bicycle Day. The
Bionosis. that project?
No, there's the Hefter Research Institute. Hefter's great. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have anything to shout out besides people that wrote the forewords in my own book and the website you're on right now, Maps Canada, and that's kind of it.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. And if people want to learn more about the Hefter Institute and what they've been up to, we have a podcast with Dr. George Greer, the president of the Hefter Institute.
There you go.
So they can listen to that. He was actually the guy who, I believe he was the one who discovered the potential of MDMA for couples therapy in a formal context. Like he did the first
Wow.
study in the early 80s when it was coming up, before it was criminalized in the first round.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's
Another, yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's a blurry there's yeah. Once I get into MDMA, there's all sorts of stuff I have to find out. Like I need to know. We'll see how it goes with the thing, but maybe it goes that direction. I don't know even what direction it goes in yet, but might go
Right.
there. You know.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny, in the history of psychedelics, they talk about the dark age of the research once it shut down in the late 60s. And it's funny, if you look at the graph of the number of studies, it kind of like steadily goes down towards the mid 80s, which include the banning of MDMA. But there's only really like a 5-year period where it hits rock bottom. And there's a sudden spike in the early 90s. And it's funny, that in the early 90s, the FDA actually went to Dr. George Greer and the Hefter Institute, asking them to do studies on MDMA, even though there was only like a 5-year period in between them banning it and then asking them to do the research. There was like a switch to a more democratic or more liberal head of the FDA that jump-started the psychedelic research. So the Renaissance really started in the research right in the 90s or the early 90s. Fun fact for people.
No, that is interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about all this FDA stuff. I know a little bit more about NIDA, because NIDA plays a bit into Lilly's origin story, obviously. And NIDA, their big focus now is cigarettes. It's been cigarettes for a long time, and connections between the same firings of dopamine, so it would go across the drug spectrum, but then ending up ultimately at a weird nicotine spot. I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting where the focus of these massive institutions goes.
Right.
If you go to the National Institute of Mental Health in Bethesda, it's like a wild, massive, crazy complex. It's really, really nuts. And you're like, what? I drew it in Lilly Wave, and a friend of mine who's from Bethesda went, "Oh wow, I actually do recognize it. That's what the main building looks like. It's just all these little tiny windows. And you're like, what happens at all these little tiny windows, huh? Well, and here we got a monkey waving them off. Or there's a monkey on that side because it's split.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny to be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people want the high quality, look at that page up nice and close. They can go get your book.
There you go. Yeah.
See it for themselves, follow along the story. But for now, that will be the end of the podcast.
Damn,
thank you for hopping on, Brian.
Thank you for having me. This was super fun.
I'm David Bronner, Cosmic Engagement Officer at Dr. Bronner's, board member of MAPS. Subscribe to MAPS Canada. Bam!